had planned a completely different video for today, but it was going to be about basketball too. But situations kind of changed a little bit last night, starting with the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, all of the teams decided to boycott their games last night. 3 games were canceled, or postponed rather. 3 games were boycotted today because the players decided that enough is enough and change is mandatory at this point. And it was fitting that the first team to do it was the Milwaukee Bucks, where I heard today that the shooting in Kenosha was just 40 miles away from Milwaukee. And of course, with anything that goes on, there are supporters, there are detractors. I'm sure that the players anticipated that there would be those who would wonder aloud, well, what difference is this going to make? Or those who would sarcastically say, oh, racism is fixed now. Those who would say, well, what are they expecting to come out of this? But thankfully, or hopefully, they have seen the support that they've gotten from not only the black communities, but other sports. And any supporters who realize that enough is enough, change has to start. The thing that bothered me is that people will continue to say, oh, what do they expect to happen? What do they think that not playing is going to change? But the better question is, what, we've seen them play. We've seen them play through the things that are going on around the world. We've seen them make statements. We've seen them wear shirts. We've seen them answer post-game interviews specifically about black lives and them mattering and justice and social reform. We've seen them do all this and still nothing happened. So why are we upset now that they've decided to do something different? That they've decided to change course? And that they've now got the attention of millions of people that wouldn't want to give them that attention before. This is probably the closest to the world standing still. $1 billion industries right now are on hold and on pause, waiting to see what will happen next. Because these players were strong enough and solid and bold enough to say, we demand change and we won't play until it happens. Millions of eyes, millions of ears are now on the issues. Millions of people who tried to turn a blind eye now are forced to look at the world that we've known for a very long time. Millions of ears that were clogged up now are hearing just how serious we are about change and how mandatory it is that we get it. And I commend them for coming and playing and giving us a brief respite from, the problems of the outside world in their bubble. Giving us something else to watch sometimes. Because, it seems every time you turn on the news, it's the same story. So giving us a brief escape. And then when they're asked questions, putting the attention back on the problems that we're living with, that we're dealing with, the problems that they see, that their families are living in right now. And they were bold enough to say, you know what, you're not listening. Nothing's changing. So we need to do something else. And so I commend them. I can't wait to see what happens next. I don't know what happens next. I don't think any of us do except for the players. As it should be. Players hold the cards right now. And I pray that they make wise decisions. Don't just think about us. Don't think about our entertainment. Although, of course, we may want it. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are upset because they didn't get to watch their teams play. But this is a situation that's bigger than basketball. This is a situation that's bigger than those teams and those players. And they realized it and took a chance for us who are fighting this same fight. And so I commend them. I thank them for taking the stand that they did. I hope it continues in whatever shape or form that it takes from here. But from this point, I want us to be sure to say a prayer. Say a prayer right now for Kyrie Irving. Because before the season resumed, and he was one of the people on the front lines of this movement saying, hey, maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's something stronger we can do than playing. Our voices will be heard even stronger if we don't play. And he was criticized for it by those in his own profession. There were commentators who were questioning his education. There were commentators questioning his common sense. He was talked about by just about every armchair GM there is on the internet. Pray for Avery Bradley, another player who took a chance and stayed home and said, hey, there's something bigger going on right now. Say a prayer for Ian Desmond, another player who said, in baseball, who said there's something bigger going on right now. David Price. Say a prayer for all of these players that walked off the field today or just didn't show up at the court. Didn't come onto the court, didn't come onto the field. And both sports. Because we know they're going to catch hell from a lot of people. They're going to hear a lot of people with a lot of opinions who ain't trying to hear about justice right now. I mean, a lot of bottom line people talking about this is a business. Failing to realize that it's bigger than business right now. Say a prayer for the women's athletes that walked off the court today. We know they have a hard enough time on the internet as is. And things are going to get a lot hotter for a lot of people. Public perceptions of a lot of people may change. But let's just pray for their strength. Pray for whatever decision they decide to make. Pray for whatever direction they decide to go in. And let's pray for our families. That God will protect and cover each and every one of us. Because I saw something very profound a couple days ago, and it said, you're just one step away from being the next hashtag. Being the next person that we're fighting for justice for. So let's stay in prayer. Things are about to get crazy. But I'm ready to see what happens.